And action. I'm going live and I'm recording on both here. So, um, about Leroy, what's Frankie's last name? I don't even know. Leroy, they're supposed to have being accused for murder of Lil Justice Starks. First and foremost, condolence to all the families involved in this. But she do have a miracle name, and I believe that God don't make no mistakes. I know this is a touchy subject that we gotta be brave out here to deal with this, right? But I ain't that brave, but I do know the truth. And I don't think you gotta be that brave to tell the truth. I think you gotta be brave to lie. I think you gotta be braver to lie than tell the truth. Cause truth is easy. It's the lying that's hard. So I'm just gonna stick with the truth and what I know about little Frankie. He stayed in my house that I grew up in. His family still stayed there next door to my grandma. And he come from a really family oriented block. Not just me and my grandmother and my family, the rest of my families, but his family as well too, all the way to Pontiac. They got a lot of family. His job was in the service. He was a paramedic in the service. Now, when I came home from college, Frankie was still in high school, I believe, or just getting ready to graduate. Yeah, he was getting ready to graduate. So he didn't have anything to do. He first surprised me when he went to Job Corps. He just out the blue went to Job Corps. So let me give you some background about little Frankie. His dad, Big Frankie, stayed next door to my grandmother in the house that I stayed in. After we moved when I was 5, his sister obtained the house and she ended up moving and gave the house to him. And his son and him lived in the house, little Frankie, who lived next door to my grandmother. Now you gotta understand, my grandmother taught him and little Frankie, Big Frankie, a lot about being family oriented. Little Frankie have raised more kids, y'all. He have raised more kids. Now the grandfather said the smartest thing. He said he just want anybody, the correct person that has something to do with this to be prosecuted, brought to the full extent of the law, which is the most beautiful thing I've heard anybody say, in the course of a death in the family, because you really don't care who you get. Usually, you just want somebody, but something came to the grandfather, and he said he just want the right person, whoever's responsible for it, which I think is a very smart and heart feeling thing to say. Frankie was a paramedic when he went to the service. After he left Job Corps, he went to the United States military and he became a paramedic. And the reason why he left the service is because he said he can't stand being around people that's getting hurt. He said he can't take that. He couldn't take looking at the injuries and people getting hurt and kids. I've heard him say this. He said he couldn't stand and watch people and children get hurt in the service. So listen here, Detroit, Michigan. Justice Department, we having a lot of issues with a lot of bad people doing a lot of bad things and trying to point the finger at innocent people. I believe Frankie is one of those people, and I do believe the military gonna eventually come and speak in his behalf. Besides what I'm doing here on Facebook and YouTube, that's why I'm recording on both, because I want to try to put this out here that I am a person who know Frankie and know him well enough that I know he wouldn't do anything to hurt any child, let alone another human being. He wouldn't do anything. That's why when he went to the service, he was a paramedic. He didn't go in the army to do anything to hurt people. When he went to the service, he went there and actually did things to stop people from getting hurt. So here it is, Detroit police and the police is in the state of Michigan is again pointing fingers at people that, in my circle, really, I'm just going to say in the circle that I'm in, trying to, push towards us, guys. And this is what I want to say to all y'all. We can't defeat the prosecutors and the court systems, in ways that they can process and put people in positions. And I have to elaborate a little bit more on, she was alive when she went to the hospital. Like I said, he's a paramedic, and she was alive. Somebody tried to cut this one off Facebook. Somebody tried to go throw a signal so I couldn't go live anymore. But that's why I'm going. This is going to be on YouTube as well. So if you can't find it on Facebook, YouTube. Like I was saying, somebody, I don't know if this conspiracy stuff about the Illuminati, I don't know, but obviously somebody taking orders, and I believe, this is my personal opinion, that somebody did something to that girl in the hospital. Now, it possibly something happened to her before that, but she was alive when she went to the hospital. And one of the reasons that we know she was alive, because little Frankie is a paramedic. So when she went to the hospital, if you can get statements from him, he gonna tell you that he checked everything on the child and her vitals was okay, because that's what his job was as a paramedic in the United States military. Now, Frankie went to in the service when we was at war, so he was overseas in the Middle East when a lot of people was getting hurt over there. So he couldn't take that. He couldn't take all the people getting hurt. He said it. I remember him saying that to me. He couldn't stand watching children and older people being hurt, and he had to, with his hands, do things to stop them from bleeding. So he couldn't take that. He was thrown back by that stuff. So, but one thing is for sure, we know when she went to the hospital, she was alive, and she was in the good hands of somebody that was a medic. Now, while they trying to charge him, listen, we got a lot of people know what I'm going through with the police and the agencies here in the state of Michigan. Frankie is a good friend of ours. He's like one of my grandmother's grandsons. He's one of the kids. He's just like any of my cousins that's been killed and murdered that lived on Mark Twain. Jeffrey and Curtis. Frankie is one of them. So this attack on Frankie is an attack that's orchestrated by people that's in my family. So from I haven't talked to anybody, but I know who Frankie is. I know who his daddy is. I know all his cousins, Fia and Fia kids, who all these kids Frankie done raised, all of them. Monica's, they probably gonna have a problem saying their names, but you know what? These people gonna ride with Frankie, y'all, no matter what, because they know he ain't gonna do nothing to harm no children. So that's why they ain't gonna say shit to me about me mentioning their name, because they love him that much. And then he got people that's in my family that love him that much, like my aunties, all of them. They know Frankie. Frankie been in our house ever since he was a teenager, younger than a teenager. I guess he was about 11 when he started coming on Mark Twain. When his father started bringing little Frankie, Big Frankie started bringing Frankie around. I'm gonna go with I know Frankie. I know his father very well. And in fact, Big Frankie stayed in my grandma's house. Y'all remember that? He stayed in the back room. Big Frankie. So you know Big Frankie was over there. Little Frankie had to come see his daddy. Um, all the stuff that Frankie did, all that work that Frankie and little Frankie did for my grandma, you know we gonna stand up for him and say he ain't did it, because we know he ain't gonna. Do you know all these kids that's in their family is gonna come and say something in his behalf, y'all. But we still need to find out who actually did something. And I'm gonna go on record and say somebody in the hospital had to do something from orders, or somebody else told them to do something to that child. That's what I'm saying. Because one thing is certain: when she left from Frankie, who was a medic, he's a paramedic, wasn't nothing wrong with her. There was nothing wrong with her. She was alive. I mean, I'm not saying anything was wrong with her, because obviously something was wrong with her, because he called the paramedics. And that's what he is. He's a paramedic. He could have been a paramedic here in the States, but like I said, he said that he didn't want to be around people getting hurt. He said he couldn't take watching people get hurt. And I understand exactly what he mean. I can't do that neither. But when he told me, I understood what he was saying. He's saying his heart can't take watching people get hurt. That's what he was saying. That's why he can't be a paramedic. So by me going and by me going by my instincts and what I know about me and our families, I'm gonna have to go on and say that there's no way that Frankie did this, and definitely somebody did something to that baby. Definitely somebody did something to that baby, and it was at the hospital. I don't know if the baby fell down the stairs or not. I don't know. But the funniest thing is this. My little brother fell down some stairs twice. And Frankie was one of my little brother's friends. So, and my little brother did survive. So I have mentioned that plenty of times on Facebook and to people that I know that uh, work at the Justice Department downtown. I've mentioned that a lot of times, and I'm quite sure I'm not the only one that said that, but I'm the only one I'm sure who said that around people who work at the Justice Department downtown Detroit. I don't know if this is a connection, guys, but I'm just telling you what I know, and and it's kind of peculiar how this story is being, and then all of a sudden Frankie, you know what I'm saying, little Frankie, Talking about they saying he killed a 1-year-old child. This is bizarre. Cause you gotta think about it. Think about all the kids that little Frankie babysitted on Mark Twain. Think about it. Lil Kurt, um, what's their names? Erica's kids. Remember Erica kids, y'all? That's living with Mark Twain. Erica kids, Fat and I forgot the other girl name. The girl name. Who else? All of the twins and Fia, and think about it. Hold on, Fia kids, all Fia kids. Little Percy, Percy down the street had a kid with Fia. Little Percy, who looked almost like Frankie. They're just light skinned. Think about all the kids that's on Mark Twain as well that Frankie looked out for. We're a family oriented neighborhood, and it's kind of ironic. I just went up to the second precinct, right, and filed a report about me being assaulted, and the girl around the corner got killed on the corner, right? It's a girl right there on Freeland. And around the corner from Mark Twain and between off Linden, she got shot in the window. I thought that was I think all this, getting hurt by kids, these kids getting hurt is ironic in certain ways. But I've been telling y'all that it's certain people that will hide behind children. It's a study. It's not my study. It's just a study that's already been proven, and a lot of people of different cultures are adopting these principles that certain ethnic groups are going by standing behind and using children. I don't want to make this a political issue right now altogether. I just want to say that I know that little Frankie would never do anything to hurt. Now, if y'all saying he was negligent and the baby went down the stairs, look, I do have this thing in the house. That's this little baby little thing here. I don't know if this significance meaning thing to you guys. I don't know. This right here, this little, so babies won't go down the stairs. I don't know if they use this. Sick minds think they brilliant. Y'all gotta understand that. A sick mind is people who think they brilliant. They come up with these things. So I don't know if they use this. I don't know, guys. But just keep this in mind. This gate right here, so children won't fall down the stairs, is here in my home. And like I said, the Justice Department has proven that they will do some really low things these days. With that being said, I'm gonna say this and I'm gone. I believe Frankie would never do anything to hurt anybody, especially anybody's baby. Later.